Hello, my name is Larissa Shaw. I am in the class Art of the Western World, Survey 2 with Brian Zigmont. In April of 1483, the Confraternity of the Immaculate Conception commissioned Leonardo to paint the Virgin of the Rocks as part of an altarpiece for his chapel of San Francisco Grande in Milan. The painting was done on wood panel, which was originally going to be added to a larger sculpted altarpiece for the chapel. Oil paint was used as a pigment. In the painting of Virgin of the Rocks by Leonardo, we see Mary, Christ child, St. John the Baptist, and an angel. Mary is pictured as sitting on the ground, which is a representation of Mary that also is referred to Madonna of humility. It shows Mary's humility of sitting on the ground as opposed to sitting on a throne. Mary has her right arm draped around St. John the Baptist, who is making a gesture to the Christ child of prayer on the right of the painting. The Christ child then blesses St. John while Mary's hand clings over the head of her son, while the angel is pointing and looking at St. John the Baptist. When looking at the painting, it shows an important reference to the time of the High Renaissance. Leonardo being the first artist that has not put halos on the figures. Leonardo found another way of showing divinity without the use of the proper halos once used before in other past paintings. Leonardo gave the figures an appearance of beauty and grace. The representation of Mary, Christ, St. John, and the angel all show a vision of divinity. In the painting, Mary has shown having divinity and purity. Mary has her head tilted and her hip turned the opposite direction. Her hand placement shows elegant gestures toward St. John, almost as if she's pushing St. John toward Christ. Elegance and beauty gives this painting a timeline as to when it was created due to it being in High Renaissance. Mary is also shown having purity due to the still water that is at her feet. Water typically means a sign of purity in the holy world. Also in the foreground on the bottom of the painting, there are very detailed plants and flowers, which also show examples of being in the High Renaissance period. Mary is not the only one showing beauty and elegance in the painting. St. John the Baptist is kneeling by the side of Mary, praying to Christ for a blessing. Christ, on the other hand, is giving a blessing to St. John. The angel is pointing her hand and looking towards Christ and St. John, emphasizing what is going on in the painting. On the other hand, Mary is hovering her hand over her own child. When looking at the figures in the painting, not only does the hand gestures represent beauty or elegance in this painting, but also the way that the bodies are conformed. The babies actually look like babies. They have the little baby fat, the wrinkles, like the little tiny strength that babies may have. Mary is shown as a young lady. Also, the angel is shown, but the wings on the angel are almost hidden in this photo just because it's being so dark. The background is so dark. The wings are just not shown as we have seen in past Renaissance photos or paintings. And then also the emphasis on the detail, the water on the end of the painting, the bottom of the painting, where you can know that it's water, but it's not necessarily very noticeable. It's very still. It's showing that purity, that holy water that should be depicted in this painting. Leonardo's greatest contribution to the High Renaissance is his combination of both light and shade. The figures project out in the darkness, which is illuminated by the light falling from the top left of the picture. This, in fact, emphasizes the three-dimensionality of the figures. The background of the painting is full of rivers, landscapes, and they have no intention of leading to anywhere specific. In the background of the painting, Leonardo shows many rock formations that make up the mountains of northeastern Italy. Sfumato means smoky, which is expressed by Leonardo's painting of Virgin of the Rock. Because of the atmosphere of the painting, it gives it a softness and the smoky look that he wants to emphasize. Not only is Sfumato expressed in the background of the painting, but also in the figures. The smoky, hazy look that Leonardo used, Sfumato, looking back, way back in the painting, the rock formations, it has almost a hazy feeling. It looks very moist. It looks very just like a foggy day way back in the background of this photo. Looking up towards the front of the painting, the trees, the leaves are all very dark. Like I said before, the angel wings can hardly be seen just because of the Sfumato reference to this painting. This idea of Sfumato also expresses the elegance, the beauty. Looking at Mary's face, she looks very innocent. But overall, she is the Virgin Mary. She is very innocent. The light that's being taken right to Mary is kind of at her area of her womb. Her clothing attire seems very lighter colored around her belly region and then very dark everywhere else. This is very typical for Mary in every painting during the Renaissance period because the idea of her being the Virgin Mary carrying the Christ child, the focus is usually on her womb. Looking at the painting as a whole, Leonardo did a great job expressing his effect of Sfumato just because of how dark and hazy it may look, but then it's also showing an idea of elegance, grace, just how the figures are representative in this painting. Now, looking at the layout of the painting, it is in the shape of a pyramid. Leonardo wants to express the illusion of space as to oppose with a pyramid than a triangle because of it being a three-dimensional object. He also shows the figures gesturing and looking at each other, both unifying them as a pyramid shape. Mary is shown at the top of the pyramid. Christ is shown towards the bottom right of the pyramid, while the angel is shown towards the back on the right, on the side of the pyramid. St. John the Baptist is on the upper left of the pyramid, making a perfect three-dimensional pyramid if we were to connect the lines to each of the figures. The illusion of space that Leonardo is captivating is giving a realistic view on how close or how far apart the figures are. For instance, if I was the angel, I feel as if I was sitting right next to the Christ child. In reference from me, the angel, to St. John the Baptist, I would maybe only be 3 or 4 feet away from him. Leonardo's illusion of space in this painting helps the painting be more realistic. This is especially important difference for paintings from the early Renaissance where the figures were tended to be more separate from one another. As a result, artists of the High Renaissance can do more with how the body is shown and detailed. Artists are able to show the figures as being more complex, more graceful, or elegant. In essence, the paintings from the High Renaissance are more complex and detailed than the paintings from the early Renaissance. Figures that are more interactive and showing gestures and looking at each other are often set within the shape of a pyramid, which Leonardo did a great job of expressing.